It's amazing how much can happen in just 7 days. Today, we're going to piece together a fascinating story of a nation on the move. We're talking about everything from hitting huge green energy targets to a historic change in leadership that sent ripples across the entire region.
It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer tells you so much. The events of just a few days can really show you the momentum of a country, where it's going, who its friends are, and even how it honors its own history. So yeah, let's dive in and piece that story together. Okay, so first up, let's look at what's happening at home. We're going to start with two major developments that are really shaping India's future, one in the world of clean energy and the other right at the very heart of its economy. Just look at that number for a second, 250 gigawatts. That's the incredible milestone India just announced it hit for its non-fossil fuel power capacity. Now, to put that into perspective, just 1 gigawatt can power hundreds of thousands of homes. So this is a massive deal for the country's green energy goals. And what's really cool is that this achievement puts India exactly halfway to its 2030 target of 500 gigawatts. That was a huge commitment they made under the Paris Agreement. So this sends a really clear signal that India is serious about being a global leader in the clean energy race. All right, so from the kind of power that keeps the lights on, let's talk about the power that drives the markets. Because this week also saw a really important leadership change at the top of India's financial system. We're talking about the National Stock Exchange, or the NSE. So the new person in charge is Srinivas Injeti. He's a retired IAS officer. That's India's top-tier civil service, and he brings over 4 decades of experience to the table. And get this, his appointment was greenlit by SEBI, the country's market regulator. This tells you it's not just a routine change. It's a strategic move to really double down on good governance and build trust in the financial markets. Okay, so while all of this was going on inside the country, India was also incredibly busy on the world stage, building up relationships both strategically and on the business front. And what's so interesting is this two-pronged approach you can see from just this 1 week. On one hand, you've got high-level diplomacy with the Prime Minister of Mauritius visiting to strengthen a really important partnership. And on the other hand, you've got commercial outreach, like a big jewelry expo in Saudi Arabia to boost trade in the Gulf. And this global stuff has a real impact back home. Just this week, the government and the Asian Development Bank inked a deal for a loan of over $126 million. And what's it for? The goal is to develop the Terry Lake area in Uttarakhand into a top-tier tourist spot that's open all year. It's a perfect example of how international partnerships can directly fuel local growth. Now, this theme of major transformation wasn't just happening in India. Right across the border, something truly historic was unfolding in Nepal. And it's a moment that signals a really profound shift for the whole region. I mean, it's a powerful question, and this week, it played out in real time. For a while now, youth-led movements have been building steam, fueled by frustration with corruption and a real hunger for a new kind of leadership. Well, this week, that movement saw a absolutely stunning result. And here it is. This is that historic outcome. On September 12, 2025, Nepal appointed Sushila Karki as its first ever female prime minister. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's a landmark moment for the country and for all of South Asia. And you have to understand, this was not your typical political shuffle. Sushila Karki's appointment as interim prime minister came right after these huge anti-corruption protests led by Gen Z activists. Her selection was backed by a unique consensus of the president, the army, and representatives from that youth movement. This really is a brand new chapter for Nepal. All right, for our final piece of the puzzle, let's pull back and see how all this progress today is connected to the foundations laid in the past, because this week was also about honoring that legacy. When you see a quote like this, you're talking about a true giant. This is about former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, the brilliant economist who is widely seen as the architect of the 1991 reforms that completely opened up and modernized India's economy. And this week, that incredible legacy was formally recognized. Dr. Singh was posthumously awarded the P.V. Narasimha Rao Memorial Award for Economics, which is just such a fitting tribute to his life's work. The award was accepted on his behalf by his wife, Gursharan Kaur. And finally, to round out the week, there was the celebration of Hindi Divas on September 14th. This day commemorates that moment way back in 1949 when Hindi was adopted as an official language. It's a powerful reminder of the deep cultural and constitutional roots that really anchor the nation's identity. So, there you have it. From clean energy milestones and new leadership to global handshakes and honoring the giants of the past, that's a snapshot of a nation in motion. It just goes to show you that progress is this blend of all these different things happening at once. Which, of course, leaves us with one big question. What story will the next 7 days tell?